All right.
Shea-Lynn had an undeniable energy about her.
She'd come into the room and she would turn heads.
She was someone that was super kind, always looking out for her friends.
She was the type of person that, like, the moment you met her, you were her friend.
Her and I had a 5-year age gap, and I loved hanging out with her.
When we would get to see each other, it would be the biggest deal in the world because we lived pretty far apart. People called us Thing 1 and Thing 2.
She was just the perfect student. She was really well liked. She was a really good volleyball player.
I recognized right off the bat that she was a player I wanted to coach. She was supportive of her teammates. I had no doubt that she was going to be a superstar.
She was someone that was very driven and academic in nature and always wanting to do the best at what she could do. When she was in grade 9, moving into grade 10, she was already planning out her life. She was a romantic at heart, so she was already taking pictures of wedding dresses at that age. She was envisioning being a mother. She had her whole life ahead of her.
We walk, guys. I am so good at skating.
The day started like any other day. Shea-Lynn came out of her room to approach me and ask me if she could have a friend over to work on a homework assignment. In that moment, I agreed, fully expecting that we would see each other at the end of the day. I left to work, and when I arrived home, the house was quiet. So I asked my husband where the girls were, and he said they had headed off for the afternoon, picked up by a friend that had only got her license about 7 or 8 days beforehand. I sat down at my computer station in my office and was just about to go about my day when I received an unsettling phone call from one of the other parents of one of the other girls in the vehicle. And there was a bit of a panicked voice on the call. And she said, "Brenda, the girls have been in an accident. It's not good. You need to get her right away. Shea-Lynn is pinned underneath the vehicle." We arrived at the intersection where the church was that they used to go and watch sunsets at, and the road was barricaded off. Eventually, an RCMP member pulled up to the blockade and started to approach the vehicles one by one. And when they got to our vehicle, they asked us to get outside of the car and come around the side of the road. And he looks at me, and these are the words your family will never forget. "I'm sorry to inform you, but your child has been in a collision tonight and has died." And then he handed back her belongings to us. We asked at that point in time if we could go and see her, and we were denied access. The RCMP said that what we would see, no parent should ever have to see. The lead investigator came up to our vehicle to sort of share their preliminary findings. Apparently, they had a flat rear tire. There was a soft spot in the road that they think started the event and the loss of control. The ultimate act that cost Shea-Lynn her life was that she wasn't buckled up. She was traveling in the backseat of the vehicle. She had minutes before moved over in the back seat to make room for her friend who was joining her. And in that process of transitioning, she wasn't buckled up. She had let her guard down in that moment. And when the vehicle flipped, she was ejected from the vehicle with it landing on her, and she was killed instantly. 3 minutes from the time she transitioned to the time that the driver lost control, 3 minutes later, that's all it took.
My parents came home and I'm looking over the banister and I don't see my mom or my dad or anything. I see what I know now as the grief counselor and the priest that was on the crash site. And the grief counselor says, your sister has passed on a one-car rollover on a dirt road at like 5-something p.m. and I just collapsed on the stairs, and I couldn't fathom it because I couldn't imagine my life without her or anything like that. So it was hard knowing that she was not coming home to us.
We held each other. We cried together for a period of time. And then we started calling family and friends to advise them of the news.
My phone started ringing. I knew something was so wrong. Aiden never called me. I basically said, Aiden, what's going on? I'm scared. And he said, are you sitting with someone? And I said, yes, my mom. And all he said, she wasn't wearing her seatbelt and it got into a crash, she passed away. The phone dropped from my hand and all I could say was no, 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 no.
I've never heard someone scream so much pain before. It was the hardest thing I could hear because I knew that she lost her best friend.
I just remember asking Aiden, what do I do? And he just said, hug your family. And the call ended. It was just such a earth-shattering moment. My body just went cold, shut down.
None of this made sense for us. She was always so responsible. We didn't understand how this could be our truth. We never ever thought that this would be a story that we would live.
Shea-Lynn wasn't a reckless person. She was very safe. It wasn't supposed to happen to her.
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Just disbelief, devastation that such a caring, beautiful, bright light could be taken from us. My daughter went to school here. She knew of Shea-Lynn, and I remember phoning home and just crying and saying, you gotta wear your seatbelt. It's so important.
It's affected me every day since.
The impact was really horrific for me. It was just devastating.
It was something that shouldn't have happened and didn't need to happen, but happened because of the choices that were made that night at the crash.
The ripple effect is a real thing, and I think it's hard to remember how many people that it does actually affect.
Some of these things are difficult to see. Some of these things are difficult to experience. Seeing how a family responds to a family member being hurt affects me more than anything else does in this job.
It's always hard informing the family, but I think it's especially hard when you're working with youth.
One of the common things that I hear all the time is it's a decision that impacts just me. And what I want people to understand with this is that that choice does not impact just them alone.
Some of these things, they do stay with you for a long time. Like the people that are left behind, your parents, your siblings, your friends, they're going to miss you.
I miss the laughter that we would have as a family.
No. Oh, no, don't.
It's not that deep.
I miss hearing her footsteps pitter-pattering up the stairs as she would race her dog to the top of the stairs. I miss the smell of baking in the kitchen. I miss doing her hair. I miss being able to hug her. And what I miss most, actually, it's the future that you will never have with them, that you miss equally, if not more. I knew instantly that I needed to do something in Shea-Lynn's memory. I knew that for myself, this was going to forever change who I was. And I could see the devastation that it was having with her closest friends as well. And I wanted to do all that I could to prevent another family from having to experience what we experienced.
She would be glad that her story could hopefully make a difference in other people's lives. She would have wanted people to just take away, be safe, buckle your seatbelts. You may think it won't happen to me, but it very easily can. So always buckle up and take the time to make sure that even when you're buckled up, everyone else's as well.
Vehicles can be dangerous, and we have to buckle up.
For someone that thinks it won't happen to them, I would say that's what Shea-Lynn thought.
You're not invincible. This can happen to you. And I thought that I was indestructible. I thought this would never happen to me. Her legacy lives on. She doesn't just pass away. There's meaning behind it, and she continues to live on and impact other people's lives.
When I get into my car, every time I get in my car, I think of Shea-Lynn. And I think if I don't buckle this, I am doing a disservice to Shea-Lynn.
Seatbelt safety has become a lost topic, and I want to bring it back to the table. The butterfly effect is that one small, simple action can have a multitude of actions and a ripple effect that grows into something much larger than you ever expected or ever intended over a course of time. One choice was made that day that started its own ripple effect. But through one voice alone, a ripple effect can also be created and change lives and save lives.
It's very, very important, obviously, to be wearing a seatbelt. We need to put more awareness on the usage of seatbelts.
If you're wearing the seatbelt, all of the safety systems in the car work best. A lot of vehicles right now have a lot of good safety features in them, but they're all built on working together with your seatbelt. Like the airbags are great, the airbags work best if you're wearing a seatbelt. There's still a lot of injuries that can happen if you choose not to wear a seatbelt. If you're wearing a seatbelt, it's the difference between life and death.
Your choice and your decisions impact not only you, but those you love.
The last thing I say at every practice is drive safe, and I always take opportunities to remind them, buckle up, drive for the conditions, drive safe. I do feel responsible to pass that message on all the time.
You are loved and you matter. Don't take risks with your life. It affects so many more people than you could possibly know.
It can take a fraction of a second for your life to be changed forever, for your life to end, for your family's life to be changed forever. Unless the car is in park, I am not unbuckling my seatbelt.
Even if you don't think you need to buckle up for yourself, do it for the people that could get that call. Do it for those who love you, even if you think you're safe.
No one gets up in the day thinking that you're going to get in a crash, but they happen every single day. It is not something that's fixable, but it is something that's preventable.
I want her to be remembered as the super smart, energetic, beautiful girl that she was.
I hope her legacy will be one of protection, advocacy, and love, ultimately.
Hi, Colleen. I just got my license and I wanted you to be the first person to know. I love you and I miss you so much.
Through sharing her story and others learning, they'll be inspired to choose differently. And through that, we will save lives. I came across this poem in one of her books after she passed, and I think this is representative of who she wanted to be. And it's a picture of a young girl with a butterfly. And it says, "I will not be another flower, picked for my beauty and left to die. I will be wild, difficult to find, and impossible to forget." And I think that that's really how she lived her life. Was she wanted to be special. She wanted to make an impact in the people's lives that she touched and just make a difference.